Hello everyone, welcome back to our next video. Today we're going to meet Carolyn, who lives in this beautiful Ram ProMaster van. Say hi, Carolyn.
Hi everybody.
And it's just you and I. You know,
Okay.
There's not really anyone else here. We're just having our conversation. And so the question I usually start with is, how did you end up here in the middle of nowhere living in a van?
Well, within the last year, my marriage ended and I found myself on my own, needing a place to live, and there really wasn't any place that I wanted to live. You know, I looked at apartments, I looked at houses, nothing appealed to me. I've been looking into camper vans for many years, and I just decided it was time to do that, because I want everything to be my backyard.
That's the best part. Your home is tiny,
Right.
but boy, is this a big backyard. And so you've been wanting to travel more for a while, but husband didn't want to, or?
Right, just didn't work out, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. I see that a lot. The woman in the wants to go and the man doesn't. It's surprisingly common.
Right. The kids are grown. It's time to go out and see things you haven't been able to see.
Right. You got divorced and were faced with the decision. And you were telling me you sold your house.
Right. I kind of got half a settlement for the house. So I could either go out and buy half a house, or I could buy a really nice van and fix it up to live in.
And so you decided to buy a really nice van and
I
just
did.
live in that.
I did.
You must have been studying it for a while. What made you think you could live in a van? I mean, it's a tiny space.
It seems tiny, I think, when you start, but I have everything that I need in there. There's nothing that I want for, well, other than electricity at this point.
Right.
But yeah, everything is fine, and you don't have to stay in there all the time. You know, you get to see the Grand Canyon and the Tetons and Yosemite and the lakes of Michigan. And you have a huge backyard.
A lot of us find that when we're in a house, the house becomes everything. But when you live in a van, the van is just kind of the bedroom. And outside becomes a big shift towards the outside.
Right.
Which is probably what you had in mind anyway.
Right.
And you're kind of a camper person. That's something you've enjoyed.
When I was first thinking of actually doing this, I know I used to camp all the time. You know, in my teens and my 20s, I just used to love camping. And I wasn't sure, do I want to move out into nature if I'm not sure if I still like it? You know, I'm older now, I have systemic diseases, I have arthritis and lupus. Do I really still love camping? So I took a tent and I went out for about 3 months in the winter on the East Coast.
The worst possible conditions.
Worst possible conditions. It was freezing. But I found even when it got very difficult, I still loved being out there. And I do still love camping. So that told me this was the right thing. So I just needed to decide on a van. I went to the RTR in January, looked at a lot of vans. People are great there, showing you how they put things together and what they have. And I saw one ProMaster, almost my last day there. And that's when I decided that's what I wanted.
Well, I think that's a really wise, to be sure. I mean, it's a big leap. Buying, these are expensive vans. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're not in the house anymore. Did you get rid of everything or put it in storage?
A lot of it's in storage. I got rid of about half, and the rest is in storage. And I think I'll probably go back within a year and get rid of most of that.
So you divorced, you got a settlement, so you had some money to play with, and you chose the ProMaster. Why did you choose the ProMaster?
Well, I was originally looking at a Sprinter, but at the RTR I talked to a lot of people who had them or knew about them, and that they're very good, but you want to get one before the 2006 year, and I didn't want an 11-year-old car. You know, even if it's a Sprinter and they run forever, I'm not a car person. I wouldn't be able to fix it. And they also said that it's good if you're mechanically inclined and you can do your own work. Otherwise, you have to find a Mercedes certified technician to do it, and I didn't want to bother with that. And a new Mercedes is awfully pricey.
Awfully pricey.
Awfully pricey.
And there's Dodge dealers everywhere.
And yeah, anybody can work on a Dodge.
Right.
You know, and buying a new one, I didn't have to worry about what I was getting from a used vehicle. I tend to keep cars a really long time. I don't get rid of them, so I plan to live in this for a good long time. And I can keep it up because you can get it fixed pretty much anywhere.
Right. Well, if you've watched my videos, you know that was my exact thinking. Buy as new as I can, as I can afford. And so far, any regrets?
The only thing is I couldn't decide at first, do I want windows or no windows?
Right.
I kind of like the idea of no windows, so that when I'm closed up in there at night, I'm really closed up. And I don't have to worry about people walking by or looking in or anything. But I do think now I should have gotten the one window on the passenger's rear door, because driving it is very hard when you can't see anything in that direction. So
yes.
That would be, but I figured at the time it's easier to put a window in than it is to take one out and patch the hole. So I figured if I decided I wanted a window, you can always have one installed. But I think overall, for not really knowing what I wanted or how it would be, I'm pretty pleased with what I got.
Well, when we go inside, we'll say it's huge. I mean, it's a barn in there.
Yeah.
So you're not lacking for space.
No, and I like the space. So when I first started going out in it, I brought all of my stuff. I didn't know what I would need, where I would want to put it, and there was a lot of stuff in there, and I had to keep stepping over it and falling on it, and that was difficult for me, but I've got it to a point now where I'm happy with what I've culled, and I prefer room more than stuff.
And that's a really good way to look at it. It's space versus stuff, and they oppose each other. If you got a lot of stuff, you're not going to have any space, and if you want space, you got to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah.
And having visited your van, I know you've gotten rid of a lot of stuff.
I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff.
You are a true minimalist, in my opinion, much more so than I am.
Well, of course, you've been doing it longer. This may fill up eventually, too.
So a couple standard questions I ask everyone. How are you supporting yourself on the road? You're retired, Social Security?
I work on the road. I work for an online gaming company. I'm a game master, and I develop and text edit games online, and I can do that anywhere, except in the Pisgah Forest, where there is apparently no cell service. But yeah, I can do that from anywhere, and I like that. I'm also a nurse, and I may get back into teaching nursing at some point.
Wow, so you're carrying a lot of skills with you that you can put to use wherever you are. That's a very, very good thing.
Yep. Yeah. And I still have like separation payments. My husband's real good about that. And my biggest concern is health insurance when I lose that. So even though I have more money than I absolutely need on a monthly basis, I'd rather save it, you know, in case I need it for medication later, because that gets really expensive.
Yes, it does. Although and you're planning on heading out west. In fact, you're heading west from here.
Correct.
I should ask that we're in in the Pisgah National Forest in North Carolina. And where are you heading for next then?
I think I'm heading out to Colorado to meet one of my RTR friends, Glenda, out there.
A big shout out. Hi, Glenda.
Hi, Glenda. I'm on my way. And then I'm heading north to Montana. I have a daughter that lives in Montana. All the rest of my children are on the East Coast, so they know I'll be back at some point.
Yeah. And yeah, I found that out west, camping is so much easier than here. You know, here we've been struggling a lot. We even stayed in an RV park a couple nights because we just couldn't find anything.
It's been real hard. I've been doing a lot of Walmart and truck stops, and I don't mind that for temporary. I know that this is temporary.
Right.
I will figure out the dispersed camping as I go. I don't know if I can find a site as great as you found
here.
We
did get a good one here.
You got a great one here, because I found some pretty sketchy ones where I was looking, and it was not a place I'd want to stay.
Right. Yeah, they're out there. They're just when we're gone here, I don't know where we're going. We have to leave here eventually, of course, and I don't know where we're going then. So Yeah, it's been tough, but it's really easy out west. You'll find it very easy.
Yeah.
And how are you getting internet? As a gamer, you work online for a living. That must be very important to you. How do you get online on the road?
I have a mobile hotspot on my phone. I have 8 gigs a month, and so far that's been sufficient. You know, logging onto a text-based game doesn't use all that much bandwidth. It's not like downloading, streaming videos all the time.
Right.
And so that seems to last me. And then, you know, there's McDonald's, there's different rest stops that have Wi-Fi now. And I will take advantage of them whenever I can.
And who are you using as a provider?
I am currently, my phone is Cricket, which is a subsidiary of AT&T. And so far on the East Coast, that's been fine, till I hit these mountains here. And I may switch to Verizon out west. Y'all have advised that that's a better receiver out there.
AT&T has improved. They are nearly as good, and in fact, if you find you need to like double, you might want to keep your AT&T Cricket and get Verizon as well, because there are now places we'll go where AT&T will work and Verizon won't. And if it's really critical that you get online, then having both is about as good a thing as you can do. So
we will try that. And I need to get one of those Wi-Fi boosters and the directional finders.
But with my websites and YouTube channel, being online is critically important to me too, and I don't have a problem out west.
Okay.
Colorado is one of the worst places. Anywhere you're in the mountains, it's line of sight. Cell signal is a line of sight, and the mountains block it. They just do. So it's always hard in the mountains. So were you ever afraid of doing this? It's common for women and men too, just as much, to be afraid when they say, I'm going to go live in a van. Was that a problem for you?
Not really. I think I'd seen so many of your videos and everybody else's that are very reassuring. You know, there was a time when I was looking at something like pulling a trailer, or something, or one of those cab or vehicles that you put in a truck.
Oh, a camper?
A camper,
sliding camper.
But the fact that I couldn't leave there in the middle of the night and drive away without getting out was the deal breaker for me.
Right.
Here, I just can run up to the front seat and drive away any place that I am. Whether it's people or wildlife or whatever that's making me feel threatened, I can leave.
Right.
So that was why I needed to have the driver's seat in the same space as the living space.
I think that's really wise. I think that's a very big consideration.
Wildlife does not bother me. They leave you alone when you leave them alone. And when people come up to the van, as you discovered, I do have a dog that will absolutely let me know there's somebody outside.
So how's that worked so far, traveling not just one dog, but 2 dogs?
2 dogs. Well, it's a little tough. I don't think I would have adopted. They're 2 rescue dogs that I adopted. They were kind of left behind inadvertently. And I don't think I would have adopted them had I known I'd be living in a van. At the time, I had a 4-bedroom house, a dog door, fenced-in yard. Much easier to care for them. But we're working it out.
Now, a lot of times, when people decide to go on the road, the family kind of freaks out, especially when the woman goes. They just think it's going to be unsafe, and they're going to be killed the first night out, and on and on and on.
I have 4 children, all adults now, and they've been extremely supportive.
Oh.
And my mom, who I've been living on and off with since my dad passed, she kind of misses me, and I think she worries about me, but she thinks it's really neat that I'm off doing what I want to do, and she supports me in that.
That's good. Sometimes family fights it, and that makes it really hard.
Yeah, no, nobody has fought me on it.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, well, would you mind if we went inside and saw your masterpiece?
Let's take a look.
All right.